Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'll start by Dimma. So in this tutorial today, I'm going to be showing you how I was able to recreate this lovely gown I'm putting on. Okay, so stay
Okay, this
tuned.
is the material I'm going to use to be making this lovely gown I showed you. To start off, I have my pattern paper here because I'll be drafting the front part on a pattern. So the first thing I went ahead to do was to rule a starting line that will guide me. From this starting line, I'll move over to take the necessary measurements. After that, I'll place my tape on my starting line and take my shoulder to my bust line, shoulder to my under bust of 13 and my half length, which is 16. So I'll move my tape to the other side to also make the same measurement so that I'll be able to get a straight line. I'll mark my 9.5, mark my 13 and 16. Then I'll come in with my ruler and rule it into a straight horizontal line like so. Okay, so this is my bust line and the second one is my under bust, while the last one is my half length. Okay, so I'll go ahead and roll it out like so. Now, having done that, the next thing is to work on my neckline. So I'm going to mark a neck width of 4 inches. So I came down by 6 inches. Okay, the neck depth of 6 inches. Now after that, from that 6 inches I went up by half inches like so. Then from that half inches, as you can see, I also went ahead and marked my 4-inch that I marked upwards. Okay, so that I will get a straight line. So I placed my ruler and connected it like you are seeing in the video, and also placed it the other way and squared it up like so. Okay, now after doing that, the next thing is to work on the shoulder. I placed my tape at the edge and took a shoulder of 7.5. My shoulder measures 15 plus divided by 2, 7.5. From that 7.5, I added half-inch stitch allowance because it's going to be having a sleeve. Okay, now from that making it total of 8 inches. All right, now from that marked line, what I did was to take my shoulder slant of 1 inch and went down by 1 inch. So I'm going to be connecting this 1 inch that I went down by back to the neck width. Okay, now after doing that, placing my tape at the 1 inch I came down, I took my armhole depth of 7 inches. To get yours, go ahead and do your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. okay, from there again I'm going to be ruling my line straight. As you can see, I went ahead and ruled this straight. Okay, now having done that, okay, what I'll go ahead to do is to place my ruler like so and draw out a line which will be serving as my chest line. I'll go ahead and label it my chest line. The second one is my bust line, my under bust, then my half length. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is to mark our nipple to nipple bust span divided by 2 plus half inches. Mine is 7 divided by 2, 3.5 plus half inch, that's 4 inch. I went ahead and marked it on the at the bust, under bust and half length, and rule it into a vertical line as you can see in the video. Now from the bust line, I'm going to be going down by half inch. If you're on a bigger side, you go down by 1 inch. My bust measures 34, so I'm going to be going down by half inch, and at that leg of the half length I went out and in by half inch, as you can see. So that's me taking my dart. So I'll go ahead and rule it out. As you can see, I'll rule out my dart legs. Okay, now after this, the next thing I'll go ahead to do is from the neck I'm going to go in by 1.5 inch like so. Then I'm going to blend it towards that 6 inches that we came down initially. Can you see? Now after blending down, let's work on the armhole. The first thing I did was to place my tape at the bust and measure my bust circumference divided by 4. I marked my 8.5. I also marked it at my chest line like so. Okay, now go ahead and divide your armhole by 2. I marked 7 for my armhole, so by 2 will give me 3.5. So I've marked the 3.5. Now from the chest line, I'll go ahead and add 1 inch to it like so. After that, from that 3.5 you came down by initially, you're going to go in by half inch like so. Then you come in with your French curve and watch what I'm doing on the video to be able to curve yours. I'm going to curve the places I pointed at. Okay, I'm going to curve the 2 lines together like I'm doing in the video. Now after curving that, you also go up and join it to the shoulder line like I pointed. Okay, so go ahead and curve yours out.
Now when you're done with that, go ahead and mark your under bust divided by 4. Mine gave me 8. And also check your dart and replace it. Okay, I'm going to replace that dart because we're going to be sewing it in. At the half length, also take your half length circumference divided by 4. Mine gave me 7. Okay, now after marking the 7, I'll also go ahead and replace my dart of 1 inch. Okay, so far no allowance has been added yet, so I'll come over to my under my bust line and add 2 inches. So 2 inches, I'm using 2 inches as my sewing allowance. Okay, so I'll also add it at my under bust and at my half length like so. Now I'll come in with my ruler and rule it into a vertical line. Just connect the 3 marks together. Okay, now after connecting, I'll just use my hand and blend it upwards to meet the chest line like I'm doing in the video. I'll just use my hand and blend it upward to meet the chest line. Okay, after doing that, you're done. Okay, so the next thing is to cut out the parts I'm going to be combining the fabric. Okay, like in the picture you can see the shoulder part is combined, so I'll go ahead and blend like so. I'll go ahead and blend. Just check the video and see what I did. So I'll label that side the yoke. I'm going to be cutting it out, and I'm going to be cutting out a black fabric with it. That's what I'm going to combining it with. Then I also went ahead and used my hand and curved it out beautifully like so. You can see what I'm doing in the picture. So after this, the next thing I'll do now is to come in with my scissors and go ahead and cut the marked lines like so. Okay, watch carefully to see how I'm going to be cutting out the yoke. Okay, that's the part I'll be needing. So I gave a little allowance at the shoulder line. Okay, then I went ahead and cut it out beautifully. So the parts I labeled the yoke is the only part. This part now is the only side that will be needing. The other part of the neckline will be going out. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut it out. If you are confused at any point, please watch this video carefully to see the parts I cut so that you will not cut the wrong lines. Okay, so when you are done cutting it, go ahead and bring in the front part when you are done cutting it. Okay, now go ahead and finish out the edge like so, the down part like so. There's still traces of extra there. Okay, now after that, now the back half length and the front half length usually differs. So my back half length I'm working with is 15. Okay, measure yours and know what your own is. So because of that, I would like the sides to align. So what I'll go ahead to do is I'll come down from the bust area by 1 inches. Okay, 16 minus 15 will give me 1 inches. Okay, so from there I will slant it towards the bust area like so. Okay, now what I'm going to do is kind of a bust that. Okay, I'm going to cut through the straight line like so. Now after cutting the straight line, I'm not going to be stitching this, rather I'm going to be gluing it with a masking tape. Okay, before cutting. So I'll go ahead and fold it inside and hold it with a masking tape. By so doing, you've ended up raising the side by 1 inch, hence the side of the back and the front will align after marking. Okay, so now to draft the back, I've gone ahead to fold my material into 2. The first thing I'll go ahead to do is to rule my starting line like we always do. Then from there I'm going to go ahead and mark my 1 inch zipper allowance from the edge all the way down and come in with my ruler and connect into a straight line. After doing that, okay, I'll go ahead and roll it into a straight line. Now after doing that, what I'll go ahead to do is to work on my neckline just like I did in the front line. I'm going to measure the neck depth of 4 inch, okay, like so. Then after that, I'll go ahead and mark the neck depth of 1.5 inches like so. Then having marked that, what next I'm going to do is to come in with my French curve and place it carefully and go ahead and curve it into a perfect curve. I'll curve it all the way down into the zipper allowance like so. After that, the next thing is to place my tape on the zipper line, not the end, and measure my shoulder. Okay, my shoulder, everything is 8. Remember I did 7.5 plus 1/2 inch when I was marking the front, so everything gave me 8. Now from that 8, I'm going to come down by 7 inches and mark. Okay, please make sure you also add your shoulder slant. Okay, while marking my own I forgot, but while stitching it I noticed it and I took out some inches from the shoulder. Okay, so after marking my 7, I'll go ahead and bisect it like so. Now after bisecting it like so, I'll place my tape at the shoulder line and
shoulder line and come down by 9.5 to mark my bust line. Then I'll go ahead and mark my under bust of 13. Then I'm going to mark my half length of 15. Remember I told you I use 16 for the front part, but I'm using the 15 for the back part. We've taken care of the 1 inch during the drafting of the front inch, okay, front part, sorry. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect all the lines like so into horizontal lines. Okay, after that, I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half inch. Mine gave me 4 inch. I'll mark it at the half length, bust point and under bust, and connect like so. Now after connecting, what I'm going to do is to come in and go out from the dart leg by half inch like so I'm doing in the picture, and then I'll come in with my ruler and connect it to the bust point, just like connecting my dart. Okay, that's just it. I'll connect it like I'm doing in the picture. All right, after connecting all the way down, the next thing is to go ahead and mark all your round circumference. The first one I'm going to be marking is my bust divided by 4. I'm going to place my tape at the bust line and take my bust divided by 4, which gave me 8.5. Now I'm going to raise it up to the chest line. I'll also mark the same thing. Now just like we did while marking the front part, I'm going to be adding 1 inch. After adding 1 inch, I'll go ahead and get half of my armhole. My armhole measure 7 divided by 2 gave me 3.5. Remember to take your shoulder slant place. So from there I'm going to come in like so and connect. Can you see? Now I'm going to connect it like so. Now after connecting, the next thing I'm going to do is to come down. Okay, I've already marked the one of the bust. I'll come down to the under bust. I'll do my under bust divided by 4, which gave me 8. Okay, then my half length divided by 4 gave me 7. My half length circumference gave me 7. So the next thing is to replace the dart. I have that of 1 inch. I'll go ahead and replace it at the half length, replace it at the under bust. Then towards the bust, I don't have any dart to replace. What I will go ahead to do is to mark my allowance of 2 inch all the way down at the bust, under bust, half length like so. Then I'll come in with my ruler and connect it into a straight horizontal line, just merging the lines together. Then I'll also roll it to join the chest line. Then please watch what I'm doing. Go ahead and curve it out beautifully like so. Then we are done drafting the back pattern like this. The next thing is to take away zip bulge. Okay, to take care of that, what I will go ahead to do is to come in by half inch like I'm doing at the half length. Then I'll go ahead and connect it all the way to the bust point like I'm doing in the video now, like so. Just go ahead and connect. Now since you've already taken out half inch from there, definitely it's going to be affecting the side, okay, irrespective of the 2 inches. I want to maintain my 2 inch allowance at the end of the day. So what I'll go ahead to do is to add extra half inch there, can you see, and connect it like so. That's just it. So I will now come in with my scissors and go ahead and cut it out. With this we are done drafting out the back pattern. The next thing is to cut out everything. Remember I said make sure you take your shoulder dart, please, shoulder slants rather. Please, I forgot it, but while stitching I took care of it. Okay, go ahead and cut out the zipper bulge like so. Then you come in with your scissors and divide the piece into 2 pieces. Go ahead and notch your dart by closing it up just like I'm doing and cutting it out a bit with your scissors. All right, so that will help you to recreate your dart on the other side of the back part. Okay, so having done that, I'm done. So what I'll go ahead to do is to use my pattern for the front and cut out pieces for it. After that, the next thing is to work on the lower part, the skirt part. Okay, so for me to know the measurement I'm going to use, the total measurement I need is 44. So I'm going to subtract the 44 from the upper side I've worked with before. So 44 minus 16 will give me 28. Hence that will be the total length of this skirt part. So the first thing I did was to mark my starting line, and from that starting line I took my hip length of 8 inches. I'll go ahead and mark my hip measurement of 8 inches like so. Then the next thing I will do after that is to take the full measurement. Okay, all right, from the top I'll place my tape and measure the measurement of 28 inches. Okay, so that's my full measurement I'm working with. Now having done that, the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to place my tape at the
starting line, which is serving as my half length, I'll go ahead and mark my half length circumference divided by 4, which gave me 7. Mine is 28 by 4 will give me 7. Okay, then the next thing is to work on the dart. I'll go ahead and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half, that's 4 inches. Then to know the length of the dart, I'm going to subtract 2 inches from my hip lines, hence I'm going to be marking 6 inches. Okay, after doing that, I'll go ahead and roll it into a straight line. Now from the dart leg, I'll go ahead and come in and go out by ½ inch on both sides like so. Okay, I'll come in by ½ inch and go out by ½ inch. Then I'll come in with my straight ruler and connect it like I'm pointing in the video. So I'll go ahead and place my very well and connect it. And after connecting, the next thing I went ahead to do was to measure I still confirmed my shoulder, my half length, okay, waistline, which is 7. Okay, I'm going to be replacing that of 1 inch after that 7, so I'll go ahead and add. So at my hip line, I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4. My hip measures 36 by 4 will give me 9. So after marking that 9, I'll go over to the hem line. Whatever I marked at my waistline, remember I marked 7, I'm going to be marking it plus 1 inch allowance. Okay, that 7 I have there plus 1 inch, making the total of 8. So I'll go ahead and mark my 8 like so. Now the next thing left is for us to add our seam allowance, our sewing allowance. Remember I worked with 2 inches while drafting the upper bodies, so I'm also going to be adding 2 inches allowance. I'll add it to the starting line, my half length. I'll add it to my hip line, and also at that hem line no allowance is needed, hence don't add anything because you will be wanting it to be in a pencil form. All right, so you go ahead and connect all the lines together. You connect from your half length to your hip, then from that to your desired length like so. Okay, after connecting, the next thing you are done here, the next thing is to go ahead and come in with your scissors and carefully cut out the lines like I'm doing in the video. Okay, after doing that, you go ahead and notch your darts. Just watch what I'm doing, you'll see what I'm doing. Now while drafting the upper part, you'll see that I left some material, some space up. This is to enable me to be able to add it to the upper bodies, to join it to the upper bodies. Okay, so go ahead and add ½ inch while cutting. Then you come in with your pen and blend the dart leg upwards like so. Then go ahead and fold your dart and notch so as to be able to recreate the dart on the other side of the fabric. The next thing I went ahead to do was to fold my material that I'll be using to cut the back part. And after folding it, I went ahead and marked 1 inch zipper allowance all the way down from the starting point all the way down. Then after marking it, the next thing you have to do is to come in with your ruler. I took my time and marked my 1 inch. Then the next thing was to come in with my ruler and rule it into a straight vertical line like so. And after ruling it, I'll take my time and rule it and make sure that everything aligns. Okay, now after ruling the line, the next thing is you go ahead and place the front part that you drafted, making sure that it aligns with that 1 inch zipper allowance you gave like so. Then go ahead and rule your hip line. Okay, after ruling my hip line like so, I came in with my scissors and I cut out the hem line to get the actual length that I'm working with. Now go ahead and extend your hip line on the back part. Okay, then what you're going to do now is on that back pattern you're going to trim out ½ inch from the zipper allowance like I'm doing. Okay, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to start trimming from the hem line, that's the desired length. I'm going to trim up till that hip line that I marked. You see what I'm going to be doing there. So go ahead and trim yours ½ inch all the way up to that marked hip line on that back pattern. This will give your skirt part a kind of a butt lifting, okay, or contour, whatever you choose to call it. Then the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to divide the pattern. Go ahead and divide it into 2 because you need to have 2 pieces of these back parts, okay, like so. After that, with that, I'll go ahead and come in with my scissors. Now remember you removed ½ inch from the zipper allowance downward, so it's going to be affecting your skirt. So go ahead and add ½ inch from the top to the down at the back pattern. Okay, then after that, come in with your scissors and cut out everything beautifully. After cutting, also go ahead and use your front pattern as a guide to recreate the darts on the back pattern. How you achieve this is by just merging the edge together like so, making sure your front starts from your zipper allowance, then go ahead and fold it like so and notch. Now with this, you'll be able to recreate the darts both on the front part and at the back part. Okay, so you'll be having two darts at the front part and two darts on each of the back parts. All right, like so. Then after that, go away and take this out. Now the next thing left for us is to start our joining, which I'll be showing you how to do. All right, to start joining, I've gone ahead to bring in all my pattern. Okay, here I have the yoke which I cut on a dark fabric, and I went ahead and added ½ inch to the places I pointed aside the side. Okay, and I have 4 pieces of it here because 2 will be serving for one shoulder and the other 2 for one other shoulder. I'm using the same material as the lining. Okay, so the first thing I went ahead to do was to align my yoke properly and noted the up part. It is very important you note your up and your down. So I went ahead and labeled the up, and the next thing I went ahead also to do is to note the side. Okay, it will be very wrong for you to use this part facing the side as your front. Okay, so I went ahead and notched my center front. Okay, that's my center front. Now after doing that, remember I told you I have 4 pieces of it here. I'll be using 2 for one shoulder and 2 for the other side of the shoulder. Now I also went in and bring in my front and back pattern. All right, so the next thing I also did was to notch my pattern. Okay, to notch my dart. Now after that, I'll go ahead and bring in a material that I'll be using to cut facing for the back. Okay, you can go ahead and turn up your back neckline with either bayat, but for me I want to be using the facing, so I went ahead and traced out the neckline and the shoulder. Then I removed the back pattern that I used as a guide. Then I came down from the neck, I came down by 3.5, and the shoulder I went in by 2 inches. Then from there I connected it like so. Okay, so I came in using my pen, I connected it like so. Now after connecting, the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to cut out. So for this facing, you just be using it to turn the neckline. Okay, after hemming the down part. So after cutting like so, I'll also go ahead and divide it into 2. Remember we have 2 pieces, 7 for as the back pattern, hence we have 2 facing for them. Now I've gone ahead to hold my dart. Okay, I have 2 pieces of this front part. Okay, I cut out the same thing for the 2 pieces. I used my material as the lining. Okay, I also went ahead and hold the dart on the lining, the part 7 as lining. So I've also gone ahead to hold all my darts, both the skirt part and the upper parts, both the front and the back. That's what I'm showing in this video. Okay, so to turn with my facing, you can see that I've hemmed the down part of my facing. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and place it right side facing right side and sew in the neck using ½ inch and then flip it over like so. Can you see? Now coming in with my yoke, I'll go ahead and remove the pin holding it and go ahead and separate it. Okay, see what I have 2 pieces for each shoulder like I told you. Now the parts I notched, okay, what I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark ½ inch all the way from the top to the down, that side that I notched, okay, which will be the center front. All right, so I'll go ahead and stitch that. I'm going to be stitching it with ½ inch. All right, so that when I flip, 1 is 7 as a lining note. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and make sure that I'm getting the right thing. I'll go ahead and mark ½ inch from the top to the down. I'll go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side. So this stitched line, you're going to stitch on it with ½ inch and then turn it over. You stitch, you top stitch on the parts that will be your lining, then you flip it over. Here I've gone ahead to stitch I added gum to it to give it strength, okay, to make it to be firm a bit. So to fix this, what I will go ahead to do is I'll go ahead and align it front side facing the front side. Can you see what I did? Okay, so I'll go ahead and arrange it like so. Just follow what I'm doing, then I'll pin it. After pinning, I'll also fix the next side. Okay, now after fixing the other side with, I will go ahead and attach them with pin. Okay, then I'll head over to my sewing machine and stitch it using ½ inch. All right, so I'll be heading over to my stitching machine now to stitch it. After stitching it, I will show you. Here I'm done holding it down with a stitch. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and bring in my second front fabric, okay, the one that will be serving as the lining. Then I'll place it right side facing the right side. Can you see? Then I'll go ahead and mark ½ inch all the way on the top part. Okay, so I'm going to be stitching that ½ inch. Okay, so I will head over to my machine and stitch. After stitching it like I've done here, the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to notch. You have to notch, especially that curved part. Okay, that cuff part that will give you that queen and neckline. Okay, go ahead and notch well. Take your time and notch it all the way around, then you flip over to the right side. After flipping, go ahead and stitch on the lining side, okay, so that it will look more relaxed. Okay, now I've gone ahead to top stitch my, and this is how I have it looking like, well relaxed. Okay, I also went ahead and ironed it. Can you see? So this is my lining part, while the other side is my front part. Okay, my main fabric part. So having done this, what I'll go ahead to do now is to bring in the down part to add to it. All right, bringing in the front part, I'm gonna head to flip it in to the side that will suit me. Okay, so I'll go ahead and merge the front side facing the front side and making sure that both the dart on the front upper part and the dart of the down part align together. Can you see what I'm doing in the video? Then I'll go ahead and join it using 1/2 inch. All right, now also bringing in the back part, I'm gonna head to hold all my dart, both the one on the upper part and the one on the down part. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get the matching side, okay, the matching down. Then I'll go ahead and merge the dart. Okay, I'll make sure that the dart is matching with the dart of the downside, okay, and stitch with 1/2 inch. Then go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side of the back part, okay, like so. Then when you are done attaching the upper part and the down part all together, so this is one side and you see what I have it looking like. So I've gone ahead to merge the two back parts together like so. Can you see? After joining it with the upper part, okay, I've merged it together like this. So the next thing now is for you to go ahead and mark 1 inch all the way down. Okay, ignore the first line and mark a new one, 1 inch all the way down, okay, for you to be able to take in your back cinch. So go ahead and mark 1 inch all the way down from the top to the down. Okay, so when you finish marking, go ahead and take your time and mark yours. All right, now after marking, what you do is starting from the hemline, go ahead and come up by 8 inches like so. Okay, go ahead and mark your 8 inches. Okay, now after marking your 8 inches, use your zipper to measure where you are going to join the zipper to. Okay, so I use mine to measure and I would like to stop like 2 inches above the zipper. Can you see? I also went ahead and make a mark. So you're going to stitch from one point to another point. All right, so the down part will be your opening, while the upper part you're going to be fixing the zipper to it. Here I've gone ahead to fix my zipper. Can you see? I've gone ahead to fix my invisible stock zipper. Okay, and this is what it looks, very nice and beautiful. So the next thing I went ahead to do was to merge this. Okay, front side facing the front side. I brought in the front pattern like so. Now what you go ahead to do for me is to join the shoulder using 1/2 inch. Please go ahead and join the shoulder using 1/2 inch, and also take your time to mark out the 2 inches that we used as seam allowance. Remember, we used 2 inches while drafting. So I've taken care of my own. I've gone ahead to mark mine and I drew out a line using my chalk, okay, to guide me. So I went ahead and marked 2 inches. That was what I marked all the way from the top till the down. Can you see? I marked it all the way till the down. Please take your time and mark it, okay? So after marking it, now you head over to your machine and stitch on the line. Here I'm done stitching and this is what I have it looking, okay? Alright, bringing in my already drafted cap sleeve, which I will be showing you how to do in my next tutorial. I have 2:1 on each side here, so I'll go ahead and stitch the down and flip it over. So I've also gone ahead to stitch the edge, okay, the edge, okay. So the next thing I'll do here is to fold it like so and notch it, okay. After notching, you're going to join the notch to the shoulder. Okay, you leave it open like so and join the notch to the shoulder. Then you go ahead and stitch one part of it downward and stop wherever it stops, and stitch the other part of it downwards also, and also stop wherever it stops. Okay, this is what I mean. Okay, so after pinning it, you go ahead and hold it all the way down and stitch with 1/2 inch and stop wherever it's going to stop, and also repeat the same thing on the other side. Okay, make sure you start at the middle to stitch. So the next thing is, here I'm done fixing it. The next thing is, since the cam sleeve will not get to the end, definitely you're going to have open parts. Okay, so go ahead and turn it using bias, turn the armhole using bias, or you turn it with a matching fabric. Okay, so the fabric I'm holding is what I use them turning my own. Okay, this fabric is just for you to use it as a bias, same way you use bias to turn. Okay, so I'll go ahead to use my bias, start stitching from the right side, then you flip it over to the wrong side and stitch. Okay, same way you fix your bias, that's the thing you're going to do here. Okay, so to give your armhole a nice finishing. So when you are done with that, the next thing is to progress to fix your lined stylish belts that is in the front of the dress. Okay, so here with me I have a long strap which I've cut out, okay, and I've gone ahead to turn using a matching fabric, okay, just the way you turn your belt. So what you go ahead to do is you get the center of this. Now before that, the length of this belt should be your hip, half of your hip times 3. Okay, so the next thing I went ahead to do was to get half of my hip divided by 4. Whatever you get, go ahead and mark it on one side after getting the center, okay, and come over to the other side and also mark the same thing. So my hip is 36. I've marked 9 on the other side after getting the center, and I'll mark 9 on the left hand side like so. Okay, so after that, you go ahead and bring your top, and from the half length go up by 1 inch like so. Okay, then go ahead and place one marking on it. The center should be at the center of the dress. Then also on the other side, go ahead and mark your hip. My hip is 8, so from that 8 go up by 2 inches. That means I worked with 6. From that your hip, go up by 2 inches. Can you see what I'm doing? So go ahead and merge the other line. Okay, the other line should touch it. The other line that you mark should touch it. All right, go ahead and adjust yours. Then do the same thing on the other strap. The same thing, go ahead and divide, get the center, mark quarter of your hip on each side and fix it just the same way we fix the other one. Then go ahead and tack it, or you just stitch it, making sure that you stitch only the front part. Please don't stitch the front and the back part together, if not you will not be able to put it on. And this is what I have it looking after making it. All right, very lovely, very beautiful. Okay, thank you for watching to the end of this tutorial. See you in our next tutorial. Bye.